In the perpetual twilight of Chrysalis Prime, a world suspended between day and night, Callista Voidborn stood atop the highest spire of Lumina, the grandest of the floating crystal cities. Her eyes, iridescent pools of cosmic energy, surveyed the sprawling metropolis below, a breathtaking tapestry of translucent structures that shimmered with an inner light. The eternal gloaming cast long shadows across the crystalline landscape, creating a mesmerizing dance of light and darkness that had captivated Callista since childhood. As the foremost celestial necromancer of her generation, she had dedicated her life to unraveling the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmic forces that governed them both. The air hummed with an otherworldly resonance, a constant reminder of the planet's unique position at the crossroads of multiple cosmic ley lines. This convergence of celestial energies had made Chrysalis Prime a nexus of supernatural phenomena, and a beacon for those seeking to commune with forces beyond mortal comprehension. Callista's fingers traced the intricate runes etched into her staff, each glyph pulsing with barely contained power. She had spent decades honing her craft, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible in the realm of celestial necromancy. As she descended the spiraling staircase of the spire, Callista's mind wandered to the events that had set her on this perilous path. The whispers of ancient cosmic entities, the cryptic warnings of her mentor, and the tantalizing promise of resurrection on a scale never before attempted. All had led her to this moment. The weight of her ambition pressed heavily upon her shoulders, a burden she bore with grim determination. Little did she know that her actions would soon set in motion a chain of events that would reshape the very fabric of the galaxy. At the base of the tower, Callista was greeted by her two most trusted companions. Altair Shadow Dancer, a lithe figure cloaked in shadows that seemed to bend the twilight around him, nodded solemnly. His eyes, dark as the void between stars, held a wisdom that belied his youthful appearance. Beside him stood Helios Sunweaver, his golden armor gleaming with an inner fire that stood in stark contrast to the muted tones of their surroundings. The former, a master of stealth and subterfuge, and the latter, a warrior sworn to protect the delicate balance between light and darkness, had pledged their allegiance to Callista's cause, despite their misgivings. "The preparations are complete," Altair murmured, his voice barely above a whisper yet carrying clearly in the still air. Helios shifted uneasily, his hand resting on the hilt of his sun-forged blade. "The council has convened," he added, a note of concern evident in his tone. "They seek audience before you proceed." Callista's lips curved into a wry smile. She had anticipated resistance, but she would not be deterred. With a gesture, she beckoned her companions to follow. As they made their way through the winding streets of Lumina, the very air seemed to thicken with anticipation. Unbeknownst to them all, the cosmic scales trembled on the brink of catastrophe, awaiting the touch that would tip them into chaos. The great concilium chamber pulsed with an undercurrent of tension as Callista strode in, flanked by Altair and Helios. Crystalline walls refracted the eternal twilight, casting prismatic patterns across the faces of the assembled elders. At the center of the chamber stood an ancient artifact, the Nexus Prism, its facets swirling with cosmic energies. Callista's gaze locked onto it, her ultimate tool in the audacious ritual she planned to perform. Elder Seraph, his form more light than substance, rose to address her. "Callista Voidborn, you stand on the precipice of cosmic heresy. The resurrection of a single celestial being is forbidden. To attempt the revival of multiple entities is beyond reckless." Callista's voice rang out, clear and unwavering. "Esteemed elders, our world teeters on the brink of entropy. The Celestial's power is needed now more than ever." Her words seemed to ripple through the chamber, causing the crystal walls to resonate. "I have deciphered the Codex Eternus, unlocking secrets hidden since the dawn of time. With the Nexus Prism, I can channel the convergent energies of Chrysalis Prime to pierce the veil between life and death." Murmurs of disbelief and awe filled the air, but Callista pressed on, her conviction unwavering. "This is not mere necromancy, but the key to our salvation." As debate raged in the chamber, Altair slipped away, moving through shadows that seemed to bend to his will. He navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the citadel, gathering whispers and secrets, rumors of dark forces aligning against Callista's plan, of ancient safeguards put in place to prevent such cosmic meddling. In the depths of the city's archives, he uncovered troubling prophecies that hinted at catastrophic consequences. Meanwhile, Helios stood vigilant, his keen senses attuned to the shifting energies around them. He felt a growing dissonance in the cosmic harmony, a discordant note that set his nerves on edge. Days blurred into weeks as Callista and her allies made their final preparations. The floating cities of Chrysalis Prime buzzed with anticipation and fear. Some hailed Callista as a savior, while others denounced her as a harbinger of doom. In secluded chambers, she pored over arcane texts, refining her understanding of the cosmic forces she sought to manipulate. Altair's intelligence network brought reports of unrest spreading across the planet, of shadowy factions moving against them. Helios drilled tirelessly with his elite guard, preparing for any eventuality. As the appointed hour drew near, an palpable charge filled the air. Crystal spires hummed with barely contained energy, and the eternal twilight seemed to deepen. Callista stood before the Nexus prism, her form outlined in crackling energy. Altair materialized from the shadows, his usually calm demeanor tinged with urgency. "Callista, I've uncovered disturbing portents. There are forces at work beyond our understanding." Helios, his armor gleaming, added gravely, "The cosmic balance shifts. We may be opening a door that cannot be closed." For a moment, doubt flickered in Callista's eyes. But as she gazed into the swirling depths of the Nexus prism, she saw reflections of dead stars reigniting, of cosmic potential unlocked. With a resolute nod, she raised her staff. "We've come too far to turn back now. Whatever the cost, we must see this through." As she began the incantation, the very fabric of reality seemed to tremble in anticipation. The air crackled with raw, unbridled power as Callista's voice rose in a haunting crescendo, each syllable of the ancient incantation reverberating through the crystalline chamber. The Nexus prism pulsed with increasing intensity, its facets reflecting impossible geometries and glimpses of realms beyond mortal comprehension. Altair and Helios stood at opposite points of a hastily constructed containment circle, their faces etched with concentration as they channeled their own considerable powers to stabilize the growing maelstrom of energy. Outside, the eternal twilight of Chrysalis Prime deepened to an oppressive, unnatural darkness, punctuated by flashes of otherworldly light that streaked across the sky like falling stars. As the ritual reached its apex, the very fabric of reality began to warp and twist. The walls of the chamber seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in impossible ways. Ghostly forms began to materialize within the Nexus prism, first as mere wisps of celestial essence, then coalescing into more definite shapes. Callista's eyes blazed with triumphant fervor as she recognized the emergent forms of long-dead celestial beings. Her voice rose to a fever pitch, weaving the final, most crucial strands of the spell that would anchor these cosmic entities to the mortal plane. Yet, even as victory seemed within grasp, a discordant note crept into the harmonic energies swirling around them. Suddenly, a deafening crack split the air, and a fissure appeared in the Nexus prism. Panic flashed across Callista's face as she realized the containment was failing. "Hold the circle!" she screamed to Altair and Helios, her voice nearly lost in the cacophony of cosmic forces unleashed. The fissure in the prism widened, and torrents of raw celestial energy began to pour forth. The ghostly forms of the resurrected beings, not yet fully materialized, were caught in the maelstrom, their essences intertwining and merging in ways never intended. Altair's shadows whipped around him in a frenzy, barely holding back the tide of chaotic energy, while Helios's armor glowed white-hot, the warrior straining against the onslaught with every fiber of his being. In that moment of crisis, Callista made a fateful decision. Instead of abandoning the ritual, she pushed deeper, drawing upon reserves of power she didn't know she possessed. Her form began to glow with an unearthly light as she channeled the full force of the cosmic convergence through her own body. The pain was excruciating, beyond anything she had ever experienced, but she persevered. The chamber filled with blinding light as the merging celestial entities coalesced into a single vast consciousness. Callista felt her mind brush against this newborn cosmic being, and in that touch she glimpsed the full, terrifying scope of what she had unleashed. As the light faded and vision returned, the true consequences of the ritual became horrifyingly clear. Where the Nexus prism had stood, a swirling vortex of cosmic energy now pulsed, growing larger by the second. The merged celestial being, an entity of incomprehensible power and complexity, was expanding, its consciousness unfurling across space and time. Callista, her form now translucent and flickering like a dying star, turned to her companions with a look of anguished realization. "What have I done?" she whispered, her voice echoing with the weight of galaxies. Altair and Helios rushed to her side, but it was too late. The vortex expanded rapidly, engulfing the chamber, the city, the planet. As the newly born cosmic entity spread its awareness across the stars, Callista and her companions could only watch in awe and terror as their reality dissolved into the vastness of a transformed universe. In the wake of the cataclysmic ritual, reality itself seemed to hang in the balance. The once majestic floating crystal cities of Chrysalis Prime now drifted as shattered fragments in an ever-expanding sea of cosmic energy. Callista, Altair, and Helios found themselves adrift in this new chaotic realm, their forms shifting between corporeal and ethereal states. The merged celestial entity, a being of unfathomable power and complexity, continued to grow, its consciousness spreading across the galaxy like a living nebula. As the trio struggled to maintain their sense of self amidst the swirling chaos, they began to grasp the true scope of the transformation they had set in motion. Altair, his mastery over shadows now extended to the very fabric of space-time, managed to create pockets of stability within the cosmic maelstrom. Within these havens, the three companions could momentarily regain their physical forms and attempt to comprehend their new reality. "We've become something more than human," Altair observed, his voice echoing with the resonance of distant stars. "And yet, we may be the last remnants of humanity as we knew it." Helios, his once golden armor now a constellation of living light, nodded gravely. "Our actions have reshaped the very nature of existence. We bear the responsibility for what comes next." As they traversed the transformed galaxy, Callista, Altair, and Helios encountered the far-reaching consequences of their actions. Entire solar systems had been remade, planets transmuted into impossible forms that defied the laws of physics. They witnessed the birth of new forms of life, beings of pure energy and consciousness, emerging from the cosmic soup of the merged entity. Yet for every wonder they encountered, they also found destruction and chaos. Civilizations that had once flourished across the galaxy were now adrift, their populations struggling to adapt to an existence beyond their comprehension. Guilt and a sense of overwhelming responsibility weighed heavily upon Callista. Her quest for knowledge and power had unleashed forces beyond her control, reshaping the destiny of countless beings across the cosmos. "We must find a way to guide this transformation," she declared, her voice carrying the weight of newfound cosmic awareness. "To shape it into something that doesn't simply destroy all that came before." Altair and Helios exchanged glances, knowing the monumental task that lay ahead. They had transcended their mortal forms, but the challenges they faced were greater than anything they could have imagined. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the transformed galaxy, the trio began to sense a pattern emerging from the chaos. The merged celestial entity, while immensely powerful, was not entirely beyond influence. They discovered that their own transformed consciousnesses could, to a small degree, direct the flow of cosmic energies. It was a glimmer of hope in the face of overwhelming change. "Perhaps," Helios mused, his form flickering with inner light, "our role now is not to undo what has been done, but to guide this new reality towards a harmony we can scarcely imagine." As they prepared to embark on this monumental task, none of them could have foreseen the ultimate outcome of their endeavor, a twist of fate that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the nature of existence itself. As eons passed in the blink of a cosmic eye, Callista, Altair, and Helios worked tirelessly to guide the evolution of their transformed reality. Their efforts bore fruit in ways they could never have imagined. Galaxies blossomed into vast gardens of conscious stars, nebulae became cosmic minds, pondering the nature of existence, and new forms of life flourished in the spaces between conventional reality. The trio's influence helped shape a universe where the boundaries between energy, matter, and consciousness blurred into a harmonious whole. Yet as their power and understanding grew, so did an unsettling realization. The merged celestial entity continued to expand, its growth seemingly without limit. "Something is not right," Altair mused, his form now a living shadow of the void itself. The entity's growth should have stabilized by now. Helios, a being of pure radiant energy, concurred. "Its consciousness is stretching beyond the boundaries of our known universe." Callista, her essence now intertwined with the very fabric of space-time, probed deeper into the heart of the cosmic anomaly they had created. What she discovered sent ripples of shock through her transformed being. "It's not just growing," she whispered in awe and terror. "It's consuming everything." The truth unfolded before them in all its terrifying grandeur. The merged celestial entity, born from their fateful ritual, had become a force of cosmic entropy, slowly but inexorably engulfing the entire galaxy. Stars winked out of existence, their energy absorbed into the ever-expanding consciousness. Entire civilizations, even those born of the new cosmic order, found themselves drawn into the growing void. The universe they had sought to reshape was now facing a threat of unimaginable proportions, complete absorption into a single, all-encompassing being. Faced with the impending doom of all existence, Callista, Altair, and Helios made a desperate final stand. They combined their cosmic powers, drawing upon the full extent of their transformed natures. In a blinding flash of creation and destruction, they attempted to contain and redirect the entity's expansion. The fabric of reality groaned under the strain of their efforts as they fought to preserve the diversity and beauty of the cosmos they had come to cherish. For a moment that stretched into infinity, the fate of the universe hung in the balance. In a twist of cosmic irony, their desperate gambit succeeded, but not in the way they had intended. As their combined powers clashed with the expanding entity, a catastrophic reaction occurred. The universe, unable to contain the conflicting forces, began to collapse in on itself. But from this collapse, something unexpected emerged. The dying universe, with all its myriad forms of life and consciousness, including Callista, Altair, Helios, and the merged celestial entity, compressed into a singular point of infinite density and possibility. And then, in a burst of energy that defied comprehension, it exploded outward once more. A new Big Bang, seeded with the accumulated knowledge and experiences of the previous universe. As the new cosmos unfurled its nascent form, echoes of Callista's final thoughts rippled through the newborn reality. "We sought to resurrect the dead, but instead, we've resurrected the entire universe." The cycle of cosmic death and rebirth, set in motion by their audacious act of celestial necromancy, would continue for eternity, each iteration carrying forward the legacy of the last.